On this episode of the High Flow Lifestyle Podcast, I talk with Jennifer Shinkai about Ikigai, or your life purpose, and how she's reevaluated her Ikigai and incorporated that into her entrepreneurial and coaching career. I'm your host, Dr. Josh Smith, and welcome to the High Flow Lifestyle Podcast. It's my privilege to be your peak performance and flow coach with this episode. Each week, you'll hear mind-blowing interviews as well as actionable tips and strategies for accessing flow for optimal human performance, heightening creativity, intuition, and productivity, and most importantly, living a healthier and happier life. Now let's dive into your next dose of practical flow training. Originally from the UK, Jennifer holds an MA in English Language and Literature from St. Hugh's College, Oxford University. With an interactive facilitation and coaching approach, she focuses on integrating Ikigai, or life purpose, into daily work, inclusion in a diverse workplace, resilient leadership development in times of change. As a points of view expert, participants can experience unexpected but precise moments of insight and action. An essential element for accessing flow on a regular basis is understanding your purpose or passion. In Japan, they have a concept for this called Ikigai, sometimes referred to as your reason for living or your reason for getting out of bed in the morning. Essentially, it's your why. There is a Western Venn diagram that tries to simplify Ikigai by having you list your passions, skills, etc. But Ikigai is much deeper than that. It is not only about your work and career goals. Ikigai also isn't only about staying on your one true path. Yes, you can reevaluate your path along the way. And you don't necessarily have to scrap your job and become a freelancer or entrepreneur. But my guest today did reevaluate her situation and became a successful entrepreneur and coach in Tokyo. Welcome to the show, Jennifer.
Hi.
What is your business and what are your revenue streams?
So I work as a facilitator and an executive coach. My main clients are B2B organizations, so usually gaishike, so foreign capital companies, and a couple of global Japanese companies as well. And I work with teams within those organizations as well as individuals talking about Ikigai, so life purpose and organizational purpose, sort of mission, vision, and values, team building, as well as inclusion, from a team building perspective. Mm-hmm. I do executive coaching for individuals within organizations. And then I also do some private coaching as well, often with entrepreneurs who are looking for someone who's a couple of years sort of ahead, who's been through all those kind of startup things and looking at how to kind of build their business. Is another, so B2B, B2C, and then I also work with some training partners as well, delivering other people's training to organizations. So three main revenue streams. Okay. And I'm writing a book, which I don't think will be a revenue stream. Okay. All right. From what I've heard of other people who have written books. So
just earlier, I interviewed a woman who helps people write books, and she was saying that on average, about 200 books is sort of the range for sales. So,
and those are all to your mom.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you about the book because, recently I've seen a few Ikigai titles come up. They seem a little bit on the Japanese aesthetic side or a little fluffy, to be frank. So I'm wondering how does Ikigai fit into your world as a business consultant? That's
a really great question. And that was my feeling around, the the need in the market for a book as well. I think Ikigai is a very powerful concept, whether we look at it from the way it's being seen, I'll say in the West, with the Venn diagram of what do you love, what are you good at, what can be paid for, what the world needs, or as it's actually used in Japan as just simply enjoying day to day, having a life which is meaningful, getting joy, taking a pause, all of these different things. So, but what I found is that that's all very well and good, having the aesthetic piece or having the Venn diagram. But what do I do every day in my job? I'm working for a company. I'm not living in Okinawa. I'm not 75. I'm a middle-aged person, salary man, living in Tokyo with kids and a mortgage and all of these things. There's how can I integrate that into my daily life? And so for me, it's about, mindful decisions and intentions, and also the mindset around what you are capable of negotiating in the workplace, and finding small instances. So whether it's about those, making your morning routine a little bit, more joyful or more in the moment, or whether it's about going, do you know what? The relationship I have with this person in the office needs work because they're an important stakeholder. So how am I going to do that? So my plan for the book is that, it has some of the fluffy and the gorgeous philosophy of it as well. But then there's also a lot of coaching exercises around those kind of job crafting, around the job crafting elements as well. So, once you have a little bit of an idea of where your Ikigai direction is, then what steps can you take to sort of test that out? Right.
Well, you make sure you keep us up to date with that. That sounds like a great book.
Thank you.
Can't wait to get into that. And it seems like you've had a lot of experience working in various companies and organizations. Was it difficult to make the leap into your own entrepreneurial venture?
It was interesting, actually. And this is something that I have written about in the book, is talking about, when you know. For some people, like for other people, it doesn't. But for me, once I had this insight of what my Ikigai was and how I knew I wanted to be a practitioner and in the room with people whilst they're having learning experiences and supporting that. And I realized that didn't exist in-house. That type of practitioner job at the level that I was, and, mid-level manager, learning and development professionals in-house don't get to do that much training. And I spoke to an HR mentor, and he said, "You have to start your own business."
Yeah.
And oh my God, I can't. And I spoke to my husband, and he said, "Well, let's try it. I'll support you." Actually, so if we talk about bootstrap, he did say, "I'll pay the mortgage for a year." Okay. So it was good to know that I guess that's the there was one financial safety net that I had. So I should give credit where it's due.
I just wanted to take a second to mention to you that if you're finding the show interesting and inspiring, please make sure to head over to the website highflowlifestyle.com, where you can get free access to my weekly flow hacks for optimal human performance and happiness. Get high flow lifestyle boosts weekly in your inbox and get new strategies on how to access flow, be more creative and productive, reach your peak performance, and most of all, live a happier and healthy life. Now back to the show. Okay, so we're back. Where were you born?
I was born in Bury in Lancashire, the north of England.
Okay. And where do you currently reside?
In Sumiraku in Tokyo.
Okay. How old are you now?
42.
Okay. What do you do for stress relief?
I run. I train for Spartan races, and I do yoga.
Okay. What are Spartan races?
Spartan races are obstacle course races. I do them in a team. I'm not very fat. I am very fat. I'm not very fit or fast because I'm fat. But it's great for building resilience and camaraderie. You get really dirty, and it's hard, but it's such a laugh.
Okay, that's great. What is something that you're excited about right now?
Something that I'm excited about right now. So I'm excited about writing my book about Ikigai. It was really great to hear earlier on that you said like, oh, the products which are on the market right now, there's something missing. So it's like, good to know. I'm on the right path there. I really love using points of view tools in face-to-face. So I'm excited for the opportunity to share that again.
Previously, you had mentioned you had a business coach. Is that something that you recommend for people, or is there a particular resource you recommend? Maybe people finding either like a mentor or an official business coach relationship?
I think that you definitely need people outside of yourself. You sort of talked about like the maybe the board of directors or the people who are supporting you, perhaps in a non-official capacity. What works for me as a business owner, having a business coach, is having someone who is outside the business,
right?
Who just wants my success. To be there as a sounding board and to help me get over maybe, self-limiting beliefs. I have accountability to action as well. So I think that, a coach is great. A mentor is a different role. It's also great. So the mentor, a mentor is someone who's kind of been there, done that.
Okay.
And the mentor relationship, is very much, kind of Yoda, Dumbledore. Actually, I'm more of a Harry Potter fan, who's kind of showing the way. Actually, I'm thinking Dumbledore's not that great a mentor because he's quite absent in the later books, but maybe that's his plan. Like, work it out for yourself, Harry.
That's his Yoda plan.
And you'll find. Yeah, you'll work it out. But, a coach, I think one of the big things as well is it's a message to yourself. I was coaching an entrepreneur maybe 2 years ago, and she was like, the act of investing in you has already made me feel so much better about my business. The simple fact that I have put skin in the game. I've got money on the table. I'm not sure what other metaphors or images cliches I can use here, but you've paid for it. And you've paid to invest in yourself and the business. This is a sign to yourself that this is a serious enterprise.
Yeah, you're taking it serious now.
Yeah, it's not, like a pocket money job, a little side hustle. This is it. And you're setting yourself up for success to have the right support there.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think, your coach, they don't need to be in your industry. A good coach doesn't need to don't have to be in the same startup phase, don't have to be in the same country. It's really about, the chemistry that you have with that coach, and can this person's style be useful to me right now?
Okay. Yeah.
So that would be the recommendation. Then another thing, so we have the coach, we have the mentor, and then also I'm very big on having peer support.
Oh, okay.
So previously I ran a lean-in circle, which was only for women. I ran one for women who were in managerial roles in organizations. And then when I started my business, a fellow entrepreneur said, oh, someone should start a lean-in group for entrepreneurs. And I was like, I guess that's going to be me then.
Right.
And I ran that group for 3 years.
Wow.
So I ran the corporate group for 5 years and the entrepreneurs group for 3 years. And it was great because here are people who also have similar challenges. They're also mostly solopreneurs as well. So we could kind of support each other with resources and hints and just as well community. Having that peer community, like no one knows the answers. I don't pretend like, I know how we can all, I have the secret to your multi-million-dollar business and how you're going to like ride through this coronavirus. I've no idea. I'm just holding the space and creating the community. And so join in and have, it's very easy to get isolated. So have people outside your industry, especially so that you're getting that diversity of thought and you'll be like, oh, they're doing that over in this industry. How can I apply that to what I do?
Right.
And that's where innovation comes from, right? It's just putting two ideas which have not been connected together before. Don't need to be, it's not reinventing the wheel. It's just a small step. Yeah, that was a very long answer.
That's great though. Yeah. I love the details. Yeah. Because it's not one package, fits everyone. So I'm glad you broke that down like that. Yeah. I want to thank you, Jennifer, for sharing how the concept of Ikigai has helped shape your career and develop your high flow lifestyle. If my listeners wanted to get in touch with you, where should they go?
They can reach me at jennifershinkai.com. It's my website, which does link through to Jennifer Shinkai Coaching on Facebook, or also Jennifer Shinkai on LinkedIn. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks for listening to another episode. And if you enjoyed the show, please stop by Apple Podcasts and review and subscribe so you don't ever miss an episode. And help us spread the importance of leading a high-flow lifestyle by telling a friend and sharing on social media. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Now go put some of this flow state training to work and live your life to its fullest. And I'll see you shortly on the next episode or inside the community at highflowlifestyle.com.